What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the War Room. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Astros and MLB fans just criticizing and booing the Astros since the beginning of the season, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about the MLB standings and where those teams are at and teams that surprised us so far, because we have games that have been played, so we can tell a little bit about these teams. Also, we're going to talk about the MLB bad replay calls. There's been two that are just horrendous. And then talk a little bit about the NFL, and then we're going to end off talking about some NBA with the Nets and the Lakers. So
to start off here, I just got a question. How are you feeling about the MLB so far this year?
I've been liking it actually a little bit. It's nice to have fans back in the stands. So, but I mean, I just love baseball. So
I've been
happy
into
for
it
to be back.
I've been into it this year a lot more than years past. I've actually really enjoyed watching it. I've been watching like MLB Network at night before I go to bed and just watching the replays and stuff, and just it's making me a lot excited for more sports coming abroad here soon with all the fans. I actually just did a fantasy baseball league, and I've been keeping up with that a little bit, so I think that has helped as well. If you're ever trying to get into a sport or just like want to watch some more sports that are on right now, I definitely suggest getting into a fantasy of some kind, because I feel like that helps a lot, just knowing the players and knowing who to root for, having something to root for every day. So
yeah,
that's just something I
think one thing what you were saying, how like I feel like since COVID, since that time where sports like took us like a stop and there was no sports going on, I think a lot of more people are more appreciative about what we have here.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just amazing to see, and just sports brings the world together. So
it does.
I'm just happy to have it back. So we're going to talk about the Astros, and so I have a very strong opinion about that.
This is a long story. It goes back several years now.
And first off, we're just going to talk about how the manager of the Astros, Dusty Baker, said recently after one of the games with the Angels, when an inflatable trash can was thrown onto the field, and also real trash can was thrown onto the field. Yeah, I think it's amazing. Love it. But Dusty Baker said it's a sad situation for America. Now, let's get this straight. Dusty Baker was not the manager of the Astros when the whole scandal went down. He took over the team after that.
Right? Yeah.
But
they fired him?
Not Dusty Baker.
I know.
The last GM and the last GM and the manager. So, but let's just say this: he needs to shut up. He needs to shut up. I get he wasn't a part of that, but every Astro player on that team that was involved with that team during that World Series needs to shut up and just take it, because first off, fans were not here last season. When this all came out, when everything was,
they got lucky. They got lucky then.
Yeah, they got lucky, and they weren't there to criticize them and boo them and do all these things and like heckle them. But so they're here now. They're back. They want to say what they want to say about, because when you're in the MLB, you're at that level where fans trust you to play the game right, because you're at this level and
that goes for any sport.
Yeah, any sport, that you are supposed to play the game right. And for a team to win a World Series and for all that to happen, and then, in my opinion, I think it was handled the wrong way. I think they should have been stripped of the title. I thought there should have been suspension for the team players too. But they got off very easily.
Did they prove what players it was? Because like my kind of question was, do you think it was every player? I know some players, like whenever you know the sign in like a little league baseball game and you can figure it out at a second base, whenever you're like a little runner and the catcher does like the one sign or whatever, we would always relay the signs to our dugout. And with that, some guys would want them, some guys would not, depending on if they trusted the player on second base. So I was thinking, if they knew the signs and they were getting it, well, they were getting it illegally, not during the game, so it's worse off than it is. But like some players still have that integrity, I feel like, enough to not get the signs, because it doesn't help them. If they're good enough a player as is, then they wouldn't need the help, as much help as then. But you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think it
Yeah,
was
no, I
every
totally
player
get
on the
it.
team? Like, I
Yeah,
don't think it was
but
every player, but we can't really prove on which players it was and which.
I'm gonna say this: there's a thing called guilty by association. If
No
you do
doubt.
not say something about it and you know it was going on, then you're in the wrong still. I don't know if you ever heard about this. I
Well,
mean,
I have heard about it. Guilty by association.
the Chicago White Sox, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Do you remember the player Shoeless Joe? You
Yeah.
remember who I'm talking about? Okay.
Hmm.
He was a part of a World Series team that 8 of the players were throwing the World Series, and they were being paid for that. He was one player that was not doing it. You could tell by his stats that he was trying to play the game the right way. He wasn't making errors. He was trying to hit the ball. He was trying to play the game the right way. He still got suspended from baseball for life.
Yeah.
Guilty by association.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
And so, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it sucks, but you if you don't come out and say something about it, then I feel like you're guilty. If you knew that was going on, then you're guilty.
Here's the way I think of it. I kind of think a little bit differently, as in, like, these are your comrades. These are people that you are going to war with on the baseball field. You're not going to go out of your way to hurt your team by telling them something that they're doing wrong. Even though if it is wrong and they're trying to find a way to one up the other team, it is still your teammates, and you are in battle with them whenever you're playing the game of baseball, no matter what. So you always stick with them no matter what they do, even though they don't do the right thing. So guilty by association, I believe in that. I think that this whole team should have been more suspended, but I don't think that one player, not one player, should have just came out and been like a whistleblower. I don't think that should have happened. I don't even know how they found this out in the first place, to be honest. Like, whoa.
Well, there was an investigation taken over where the cameras were in the outfield, like the team cameras, and so they thought it was kind of like suspicious where they were pointed at, and so
so they found it off of the cameras.
They were using cameras to find.
They were relaying it with the trash can.
Yeah. So, right. Or I think, in my opinion, I think that there was buzzers or like vibrators involved that players were using, because do you remember the whole thing about Jose Altuve when there was a game when he walked off and they ripped off his jersey and stuff and stuff. But then there was a recent game, and then he walked off again, and then he was like, don't take off my jersey. And he was saying it was because of a bad tattoo that his wife was embarrassed of him, and he didn't want to show. I'm like, that's bullshit. That's whatever. No, that's crap.
That's definitely sketchy as hell. But I remember last year he paid a toll by his stats, his statistics. He's naturally like above 300 batting average player, and last year he batted like 120, I think. Had one of the worst years of his career. Given it was only 60 games. But he had, and plus that, he didn't even have to deal with the fans. This year he's got to deal with the fans. So back to the fans situation. They deserve every right. They deserve
every little bit. And you know what? I think a hero last year that stood up for us was Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly is a freaking hero in my book. During that Astros and Dodgers series, where he threw at them, and he threw at Correa, and he did that. Joe Kelly's amazing.
A baller. He's a baller.
Yeah, I love him.
He's got the fight that I love to see.
Yeah, and so I think they deserved every little bit of that. But the fans are back now. Fans have a voice. They want to speak what they believe. They said, you disgraced our sport. You cheated and you lied about it, and you think that you can get away with nothing. They did get away with nothing. They went the next season, no fans. They just had to deal with the players that they played against. So the fans have a voice their opinion now, and I think they deserve every little bit of it. And there's no timeline for how long this is lasting. You know what? It can last as long as till the fans believe it's already.
It's gonna last for a while. You have to think about the teams that they had to go on the road and play in the playoffs. You don't think those fans are gonna be pissed? Like, didn't they play the Yankees? They played the Yankees. Imagine going to New York, and they're gonna have a time in New York.
And so I think they deserve a little bit of it. They should what they need to do is shut up and take it. They shouldn't talk about it. They shouldn't complain about it. They shouldn't whine about it, because you know what? You deserve what you get. Simple as that. You deserve what you get.
They'll get it for a bit.
And so, No, I think that this will last a long time because first off, they still have the World Series. I don't think they should have it. I think they should be
How
stripped of their title.
how
I
does
don't get
a
why.
how does a league deal with the situation though? What would you have done? Like figuring
Well,
that
first
out.
off, I would be like, what matters more?
Well, you should strip the title. I think that's something that they should have
100%,
done. But
100%.
what do you do
And
from there
people,
on in
but
future?
people talk about like, oh, then who would the title go to? Like, no one gets the
There was
title. Simple. Just no one gets
yeah.
it. It's simple. I mean, that's what happens.
Hmm.
So they should be stripped of the title. Simple as that. I think there should have been suspensions for some of the players, at least that were playing in those games.
Yeah,
I
but how
mean, hey, you know what? It can't be
who
as bad
can
as being suspended for life. I mean, Pete Rose, he was suspended for life for gambling on like different games, not even on himself, but different games. And he's suspended for life, not going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I remember when they came out, he was so pissed off about it because he was like, no, I love the game of baseball and I wish I could be like a good figure in baseball. But right now, since of my actions I've done in the past, I don't get to do that. And so they get to walk off easy. And they
I
did worse
mean
things than what Pete Rose did.
it was kind of soft. I think if anybody, it should have been a Jose Altuve. He was the most sketchy about it.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. I
But
mean,
like
in
the other
the
players, you can't like fully suspend
Carlos
a team. Carlos Correa, I
Carlos
don't think Carlos
Beltran.
Correa Carlos Correa?
Yeah.
I don't think Carlos Correa did it.
You
He
don't think
was
so? I mean, you know what? I don't give a crap because I sorry, but
well,
I think there's a
I
lot
remember
more players like
specifically.
Alex Bregman. I bet he was involved.
Oh, for 100%. Hold on, let me look
And
at
I liked him a lot when he before all this stuff because I liked him as a player. I was like, he's a young player, he's doing really well. And then this came out, and I lost all respect for him. I lost all respect for half of those players on the team. I like Carlos Beltran. He was going to become
Carlos
the manager of
Beltran.
the. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he's
going to
gonna.
become the. He was on that team. He was becoming the manager of the New York Mets, and he got that position. But then all this stuff came out about this, and they stripped him away from that position and said, "You're not going to be the manager anymore."
So Carlos Correa
So.
here. The reason I don't think Carlos Correa did it because in 2019 he had a batting average of 279. 2020 had a batting average of 264, so like not that big of a difference, like a couple points. But and then he's in batting 271 right now, as in
Yeah.
Jose Altuve. Let me look at his stats. I don't know. I think. Well, I don't know about Jose Altuve here.
Well, remember Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly is the one who threw at.
Oh yeah. So
At Carlos
298.
Correa and struck him out during that, and then they talked a little bit after that, and that's when the iconic lip bump
Oh
went
yeah.
on. So
this is Jose Altuve 2019 to 2020, 298 to 219. So
like I said, I don't think the fans are doing the right thing. I don't care. They can throw as many inflatable trash cans as they want out on the field. I think they can throw freaking buzzers or trash cans, all those things on the field. Any little bit that it says, hey, you disgrace the name of baseball, you're going to get it. You're going to hear it from us. So shut up and take it. That's what I can say to the Astros. And I think that the manager.
Raise it.
Yeah, I think the manager is like, you know what? It's a sad situation for America, but it's a sad situation for baseball that this happened. So I think that he should shut up too. Even if he wasn't a part of it, he should shut up too. You're part of that organization that has that scar on them. So just take it. Just wait it out.
So moving on now. You want to move on to standings here?
Yeah. So we have the standings. And 1 sec.
I also want to talk about some pitching. I've been watching some pitching the other day. The Cy Young winner. You remember seeing like Shane Bieber last year winning the Cy Young?
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was a fluke for some reason, but that dude can pitch.
Yeah,
it was not a fluke.
He is pitching really well, actually.
And so is Jacob deGrom, man. That dude struck out 14 the past two starts.
So let's get to the. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Look at that Royals. Look at that Royals.
Royals are doing really good. Like we talked about it before the season started and stuff, that they were like our dark horses and that they were going to but they're kind of taking over a little bit. I think they're pitching. I watched the game yesterday, and Brady
you
Singer
went to the
was
game, didn't you?
pitching. I went to the game against Salvi
walk-off. That's it.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great. But I want to talk about Brady Singer pitching yesterday because he pitched phenomenal. He's a good pitcher.
He's young,
and I think he's young and he's going to do really well.
We got a bunch of young pitchers.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think that the Royals could make something of this. Like I'm like no doubt they're not going to make the. No doubt they're making.
They're making the playoffs.
Playoffs. They're making playoffs. No doubt.
It's a long season. We'll see where it goes.
I know it is a long season,
so
but they haven't lost a series yet.
I know they beat Chicago.
And yeah.
Wow. Oh, they did, didn't they? I want to talk about Boston right there. That's kind of crazy. I know they started
Boston.
They started like 0-4, 0-5, and then they came back and
they've won like 8 straight.
Yeah. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games.
Yeah. And then Seattle Mariners.
That's a little surprise, but like their division is the best.
And then Astros actually kind of took a fall because they were doing really well at the very beginning of the season, and they kind of lost a couple of the games. National League though,
this National League is awesome. I love the East, NL East. That's a great division.
Yeah. So, is there any surprising teams that you see here?
The Reds.
The Reds at the top. Talked about
they can hit.
Called dark horses. Yeah, they're doing really well.
And Brewers.
The Dodgers.
I really like the Brewers too. I thought St. Louis was going to be a lot better this year, but their pitching just sucks. They can't pitch. So
but Dodgers, I don't think that surprises anyone at all because they're freaking stacked from top to bottom. I'm
surprised a little bit about the Giants too as well.
Yeah, the Giants are doing good.
Starting off a little hot.
Yeah. What do you think about the New York Mets though? That they're in the.
I like the New York Mets.
You do?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I don't know about Noah Syndergaard, but they do not have him right now, and they're still doing this well. They have Jacob deGrom, and I love Thor. Thor is amazing. I have to look here what his injury is. It's an elbow injury, so that's probably not very good. But it says he's throwing live batting practice soon. So
what about the Yankees? The Yankees are last in the AL East, and they've had the worst start since I think sometime in the 1990s.
Dude, they strike out too much, man. You're not going to get very far in this league if you strike out. You got to be able to put the ball in play and make the defense make plays. So they strike out a lot. But I really want to talk about Shohei Ohtani on the Angels. This guy is a stud.
Baller.
He's a stud.
A baller.
He goes out there, pumps 100 miles per hour, and then goes to bat and hits a home run. Like what? Who else does that in this league?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. He is. People talk about how good his pitching is, but his hitting is starting to shadow over his pitching. His hitting's so good.
Yeah.
It's like you talk about his hitting, but it's like he's just as good at pitching, and it's literally crazy that the Angels got a guy like this. It's just amazing.
So he's batting .333 with 4 home runs and 12 RBIs and 2 stolen bases.
And I think he has an absolute beautiful swing. He has an absolute beautiful swing. It's really just a masterpiece. He's just so good. He's
very good. I want to try to find his pitching here, but my app isn't letting me look. I'll just have to look it up.
But he's probably going to hit more because they're going to try to see if they can he can hit the day before he pitches.
Oh, he doesn't hit both the day before and the day after he pitches. He just hits other days.
So.
Okay.
But they're going to see if they could do that because, obviously he is like a stud in their lineup. And when they have him in, he does really well. So they're going to try to see if he can do that.
So he's batting 33, 33. It looks like right now he's pitching, his ERA is a little bit under 2. Whip is about I don't know if that's right. That doesn't look right, but because it says only pitched 4.2 innings, he's definitely pitched more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy's a stud. I'm so glad to have a player in this game like that. He's very fun to watch, and he brings in a lot of fans to the game for the Angels organization. Like, who doesn't want to go out and see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani show up, and Shohei Ohtani's pitching, and he comes to bat and just hits a freaking monster home run? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's
see
really
that.
cool. So, but like I said, this is just beginning of the season, so there's a lot more to come. So we can see how the teams round out and see where the actual standings are. But so far, I think it's been pretty good, and there's been some surprising teams. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the. One second. We're going to talk about the MLB bad replay calls. I don't know if you know much about these, but there was 2 bad calls that recently happened. One being the one on the Mets opening day against the Miami Dolphins and Miami Marlins. Sorry, excuse me. But it was the bottom of the 9th inning. Bases are loaded, and the Mets are up to bat, and they need just anything basically to get someone in to win the game. And there was a pitch thrown, and there was a strike in the strike zone, but the batter leaned in with his elbow and hit the pitch, and he walked to first, and they won the game.
And what's the word they call?
They called it a hit by pitch.
But he leaned into it?
He clearly leaned into a pitch that was going in the strike zone.
Wow. Interesting.
And I think this is a terrible call.
And they reviewed it and everything too?
They reviewed it too. Yep.
Sounds to me that umpires in MLB just need to have better reviewing skills. Like, shoot, man.
Well, the thing is that they're not the one.
These guys in the NFL, they're pretty good at reviewing whenever they look at it on camera and stuff. So, but they're not the one reviewing it. It's in New York. Oh.
Yeah, they're not the one making the call. They don't make the call.
It's rigged.
Because the same thing happened with the Phillies and the Braves. It was a play at home right here where he was sliding into home plate and his foot never touched the bag. You could see it on the Jumbotron. You could see it in the replay. And I don't know how the people in New York said that he was safe when he didn't even touch the bag. There was multiple angles that you could tell that he never touched the bag, and they called him safe, and they end up losing the game. What do you think about replay now? Because, I mean, obviously it's been an issue for these 2 games that affected the outcome.
Well, it just sounds like they're not making the best of decisions. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, you have replay for a reason, and if you look at the replay and it's clearly a call, then why aren't they making that call?
Yeah, I mean,
there's got to be something else. There's got to, like.
Do you think it's like rigged? Do you think it's rigged?
I don't know. It could be a conspiracy. We never know until we see if it continues to happen and there's more plays by like the All-Star break. Well, it's early in the year, so we don't know for sure. But if this happens like after the All-Star break, whenever things get interesting and like they have to, like teams are starting
when the games actually matter.
Yeah, when the game. So I mean, they all matter, but like whenever it gets closer to the deadline and the end.
Yeah.
If this happens, then this will not be. The fans will definitely erupt, and I think it's gonna all get figured out soon. I don't know what the hell they're doing up in New York there, but they gotta figure their shit out.
They really do. I mean, this is just terrible. And very beginning of the season. It's very beginning of the season, and so I mean, for these 2 games that already have 2 bad replay calls, I mean, it's not good. I mean, what's the point of replays to get the play right, and then you don't call it right, and then it just sucks.
Have you heard about these MLB City Connect series jerseys?
Yes. So Boston Red Sox, they wore theirs one recently, and it's for the Boston Marathon.
I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm gonna show them here.
Okay.
Share screen. Look at these. What do you think about these? That has nothing to do with Boston Red Sox at all, but
But
they look kind of cool in games. They look kind of cool in games, but I think they're kind of stupid.
It's supposed to signify the Boston Marathon.
Boston Strong. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
is there any other jerseys like this, or is it just?
I think this was the first one they came out with.
But they're gonna come out with more.
They're gonna come out with more.
We'll have to.
I think it's cool because it kind of switches up, especially for the Boston Red Sox. They don't have very like vibrant, new flashy jerseys. They're kind of pretty.
No
old
MLB
school.
team does, except for the Phillies. I love their jerseys. Those blue jerseys is baby blue, and then I don't know. I just think they're very smexy.
So I think it's cool that they're able to do this and to kind of like the NBA. They have their jerseys that like signify their city, and I think it's just representation of what their city stands for. So I think it's cool.
We'll have to do a ranking of those in a future.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. But back moving on. We're gonna talk about one second.
What are we talking about, Michael?
We're talking about something.
NFL, right?
It works. Yeah. Sorry about this. Why is this working?
I was listening to I do have to say something about this since draft is coming up. I was listening to the radio today trying to go get some coffee, and on my way back I heard that the likely chance of Mac Jones getting picked third is higher than Justin Fields and Trey Lance. So I just wanted to ask you,
really?
Do you think that is actually going to happen, or do you think because if that happens, then what the Falcons?
In my opinion, I think that that it would be Justin Fields going third.
You don't think that there's no chance Mac Jones is getting picked third?
I don't know, because I mean it depends on what Kyle Shanahan wants. But if I looked at him, I would be like, Justin Fields better. He's more athletic, and you can do more with him. And so
that means at 3, according to what I heard, and according to a lot of mock drafts I've been seeing, at 4, would Atlanta pick a quarterback, even though they have Matt Ryan under contract for 2 more years?
Well, do you think they're going to trade out?
I think that's the best, probably the best.
I think that's what they should do.
Or they get Kyle Pitts.
That's what I was saying. Unless they get Kyle Pitts, I would say at 4.
You don't think they're taking a quarterback at all?
I don't think so. Okay. I think they have Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan's not that old.
What? Matt Ryan is old.
He's not that old. He's not.
He's got like 2 years left, and he's done.
But he's been throwing really good. I mean, one of the Falcons have been one of the top passing offenses in the last few years.
He's got Julio
without
Jones.
Julio. No, Julio's been hurt half the time. It's been Calvin Ridley.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So I mean,
he's not an MVP candidate.
If you're going to be honest, is it smarter to take a quarterback and transition into having that new quarterback? Probably, but do they need it right now? Probably not. I mean, honestly, would I get a Kyle Pitts? I don't know, because their defense really sucks. So.
But Kyle Pitts is just too good of a player.
I know, but it's so hard because it's the freaking the Cowboys, Jerry Jones kind of stuff. Oh, your defense is like the last in the league, but you really want Kyle Pitts, and if you trade up, you could get him. Yeah, you'd have a freaking cool ass offense because you're gonna have playmakers everywhere, but your defense sucks.
Yeah, but my prediction, I think it'll be a draft day trade down by the Falcons if Mac Jones gets picked third, which it's looking like he might. They've been saying San Francisco likes him a lot.
If Mac Jones is
picked third, then
you think the Falcons are going to trade out?
Well, there's going to be a bunch of offers because you'll have Justin Fields and
that's what I'm saying. But would you take
Lance.
Justin Fields at 4? Would you take Justin Fields at 4?
I think you trade out, get multiple first-round picks for it.
Okay, that's pretty smart actually, because they need to develop. Because then
they still have a quarterback. You can there's quarterbacks
and you can draft one in the.
But if it all comes down to if Atlanta wants Justin Fields or not. Like, they like him. If they think he's the guy, then they're gonna pick him. But if he's not, they're probably gonna trade down, and they're probably gonna end up still getting Kyle Pitts. So
but But speaking of that, later on in another episode we'll be making down the road before the draft, we'll do a mock draft, and it'll be kind of fun to do that. But that'll be more to come on that episode. But let's talk about the Clowney going to the Browns and stuff. So what do you think about this? I think it's amazing. I think that their defense just got way better, and
their defense is already going to be good this year. But
they have they're going to have a top secondary. Now they have two edge rushers. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year he started 8 games and had no sacks. So.
Myles Garrett?
No. Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
he's been underproducing. Everyone, this is a big name, but like,
listen.
Listen. Oh, I'm listening.
Listen. He is going to be on the other side of Myles Garrett. He's going to get some sacks. I mean, obviously, he was like the only edge rusher on the Titans, and the Titans don't have that good of defense, anyways. So.
Okay. Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
I mean, but he was when he was on the Seahawks, he was doing okay. What?
Let me ask you a question. So his best year was 9.5 sacks in 2017. Over under 9.5 sacks.
Okay. Guess who was on the other side?
JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man was a beast. He needs a good person on the other side to get his production he needs to get.
So you never answered my question.
What?
Over under 9.5 sacks.
Over or under?
Yes.
Dude, I don't know if you get 9.5 sacks. Oh,
okay, exactly. So was it worth
Okay. Hey, but I think he gets close. No, actually, I'm gonna take it. I think he gets over.
No, you're down.
I'm gonna take it. No. I'm gonna take it. He's gonna get over 9.5 sacks because one, this defense is gonna be way better than the defense he had in 2017 when he was with the Texans. They had JJ Watt, but they didn't have the secondary like the Browns do right now. They have John Johnson. They have Grant Duplete coming back off an injury. They're gonna have Denzel Ward and then Gritty Williams. That's just what?
Denzel Ward's on the Giants, I think.
No, he's not.
Nope. Shoot. I was talking about Jabril Peppers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay, but no. I think I'm gonna take you on that. I think he'll get 9.5 sacks. More
for
than
$8 million. His contract is 1 year for $8 million. That's not a bad contract for the Browns. So.
No, it's not. I mean, you have an edge rusher, and I mean, this is just like wreak havoc on both sides of the line and stuff. So I think that this was a good sign by the Browns.
So.
And it works well.
This is an interesting question. In the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Browns, since they're shaping up their defense this offseason, they got a good offense already. They pick an offensive player or defensive player? At pick 24, I think.
24? Know what?
Actually, no, they're not 24. They're at.
I pick a linebacker if I can.
Linebacker?
Yeah. They don't have that good of linebackers. They lost their best linebacker at Joe that went to the Jaguars, I think. Joe Sherbert. They lost him. That he was their leading tackler last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think they had any person really step up
to
fill that position. So I think they'll take a linebacker. I think they'll take a defensive pick because one thing, Odell's going to be coming back next year too.
Good for him.
No,
I mean,
what do you say?
He's been underperforming a little bit. He's not New York Giants OBJ. So
well, yeah, because I mean he's been
why is that? I've always wondered why is
injuries.
That?
Because if you actually look at the games that he played last year, when actually 2 years ago when he first came to the Browns. Every time it wasn't him underperforming, he was being double covered and couldn't get out of those things. And he was actually helping his other teammates do better because they were more open on that side. They were covering him, and there was games that he just went off on. So I don't think he is probably the number one. Actually, no, he is. I think he'll be the number one
He's
wide
the number
receiver when he
one.
comes back in the Browns. Yeah.
But he's been. I mean, he had 2,000-yard, or so his last year of New York Giants, he had a 1,000-yard season, and then the first year with the Cleveland Browns, he had a 1,000-yard season, and last year he had 319, but he only played 7 games.
Yeah.
But his yards I don't know.
But last year was also the first year with their new offensive coordinator.
So you think he'll have a better year this year?
I think, yeah, 100%. I think that he'll come back strong, and he'll have a good.
I hope so.
I mean, I just Baker and what's his name? Head coach. Why am I forgetting it?
Oh, dude.
Can't remember. Whatever. They're connecting more, so that offense is going to work better, and then Odell's going to get more touches.
Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah. So
I
take Browns.
OBJ,
Browns are going to win.
Win AFC North?
Browns are winning the AFC North. I'm calling it right now.
Okay.
And they're Super Bowl contenders.
Well, Saquon's coming back next year. He's been training with OBJ, so I hope Saquon put him in his place. Saquon's a beast.
Yeah, he is a beast. I love him.
Right.
So you want to talk a little bit about the Trevor Lawrence thing that was said about
I just kind of looked into it. I didn't look that much into
well,
it.
he said, I remember what he said. He said that he doesn't need football in his life. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
He got other priorities.
People are going to question that and be like, oh, is he going to be a hard worker? Is he going to be motivated? Is he going to be dedicated? And I mean, it's just simple. Like, you know what? It's actually good not to have football at the first thing in your life, because if you do that, it consumes you and you're not going to be the best player.
Yeah, he did say, I love football as much more than anyone. It is a huge priority in my life, obviously. I'm driven to be the best I can be and maximize potential and win. So I don't think this is I think they're just trying to get a story out of Trevor Lawrence, because there's not much story out of him. He's been the number one projected overall mock draft for like the past 3 years. So they're just trying to find some story on him.
They're just trying to find some dirt on him.
But
anything that
draft,
they can say.
Like, coincidentally, 4 days or so till the draft, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't think that's a big deal. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about lastly. Let's talk about the
Ooh, this is nice. I don't know about this. This is crazy.
Okay, so the Nets lost to the Lakers. A huge blowout. Terrible. 126 to 101.
Is KD out in this game then?
And KD was playing. He's right there in the corner.
Oh wow.
But James Harden wasn't playing. But then again, LeBron was out.
AD was out,
and Kuzma was out, and they had Andre Drummond playing there. But
Andre Drummond, such a great pickup. I love that pickup by the.
I think it's good too, but I mean, obviously, I think he showed that he's a good player because he just beat the Nets single-handedly by himself against.
I mean, he's gonna do what you need him to do. That's why I like Andre Drummond. He's gonna. I mean, right now they need him just to be the scorer, and he's gonna get you 25 a game, and freaking however many rebounds, 12, 15 rebounds. So
yeah, I mean.
But he's gonna come back, and he's not gonna have as big a role whenever AD and LeBron come back.
But Kyrie was ejected for this game, actually, too, during this game.
Did this happen to do with, like, the Kyrie, like, not playing for a second? Or is that – nah, that's not the same thing.
No. He got ejected for this game, but the game after that, he took a personal day.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But I don't know why, but let's just talk about do you have any concerns for the Nets getting close to the playoffs and stuff? With their chemistry?
Not really.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
So I think ask you this.
Yeah.
If you have no concerns, then do you think the Lakers are still your front runner for the championship?
Well, the last time you asked me this, the Nets didn't have Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, even though he
just retired, which
yeah.
I think that could hurt them because he was playing really well actually for them. So,
dude, I don't know. I think these teams are very close in my mind, but the Nets obviously have more firepower. But it's just I'm excited to see this finals. These are going to be the finals. I'm just saying, Lakers and the Nets. That's who it's going to be. LeBron's not going out of the playoffs without getting back to the finals against his former teammate.
Hold up. So you don't think that there's any possibility that the Lakers don't get to the finals?
Okay, who in the West? Who in the West is going to beat them?
The Suns.
Hell no.
What? They are like one of the best teams they have the best record right now. And two, Jazz are not bad either. Let's get that down straight. You're telling me
Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker are going to beat LeBron James.
Hey, they've been doing good so far. And then when they were in the bubble last year, they went undefeated. I guarantee if the Suns would have played the Lakers last year, they would have beat them. If they were put in the playoffs. Guarantee it. You can't stop a hot team.
You can't stop LeBron James in the playoffs either.
I don't think so.
But look at these teams. Utah Jazz, the Lakers just played the Utah Jazz the other night and curb stomped them, I'm pretty sure. The Phoenix Suns, they're not beating them. The Clippers are the only team that have emerged lately that maybe have a chance. The Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray, they're out. Portland Trailblazers, no. Dallas Mavericks, no. Memphis Grizzlies, no. So I think the only team that could end up beating them is probably the Clippers, and I don't think they're that good. You don't think the Suns? No.
Oh man.
But in the East, who's beating the Nets in the playoffs?
I don't think anyone.
Nobody.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you, Lakers Nets. That's what it's gonna be. I probably should make a bet on it.
I think the Nets are for sure going to the finals, but I'm not certain that the Lakers are going. I think there's a possibility that a team could beat them in the playoffs.
Well, we'll have to see. Whenever it gets close to the playoffs here.
It depends. It depends on how hot the Suns are. If the Suns are hot and playoff P is actually being playoff P for the Clippers, then there's a chance. But I'm not saying it's certain, but I'm not saying there's 100% chance that Lakers are going to get to the finals again. But, I mean, I think it is concerning to me that they lost I think once James Harden gets back, I think that everything's going to work out because I think he's been I feel like he's been the connection between Kyrie and KD. Like, he fits that player role, and then he just, like, blends them together and has good chemistry. So,
I love watching Kyrie play. He's probably one of the most fascinating players you can watch in the NBA. Best handles.
Yeah, he really
best finisher at the rim. He can shoot beyond the three-point line like there's no other. So he's a great player. But I don't have anything else in this episode today. Was there anything you'd like to say before we end this episode?
No, just besides this is our dream. Thanks for supporting us. Remember to like and subscribe. And
comment down below as well. We'd like to
Yes.
know your guys' what we should talk about in later episodes. So give us some ideas and we'll debate on it or something. So this is the end of episode 5 now. I think this is 5. End of episode 5. Keep it real out there, guys. This is the War Room.